How long to take tesamorelin before taking a break? If you're not sure how to take tesamorelin, you've come to the right place, because I'm going to show you how to cycle this important peptide so that you get the maximum benefits out of it without overusing it and just having expensive urine. I'm going to give you a complete protocol and even lay out some of the peptides that you can stack with tesamorelin as you're utilizing it for muscle building, fat burning, and liver regeneration. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how long to take tesamorelin, what time of day to take it for optimal results, and also when you want to cycle off of it entirely. So tesamorelin is a phenomenal fat burning peptide. And if you go back to my previous videos on tesamorelin, you can understand all the mechanics of it, how it activates growth hormone. And even in one of the studies, they found that tesamorelin in men who were over 65 that had mild cognitive decline, they found that this peptide actually helped with verbal composite scores. It helps with memory and learning retention. And they found that this mild cognitive decline actually went away when using tesamorelin. So what is it? Why does it matter? And how should you cycle it? So if you're taking tesamorelin, the thing you want to do is 5 days on, 2 days off. That is the standard protocol. And in some cases, like in the clinical trials back in 2012, they would actually keep patients on it for 2 years at a time. But these were patients with severe growth hormone deficiency. They had the lipodystrophy and immunosuppression. So for those of you who are taking it for optimization, there's this very simple mechanism in your body called mTOR and AMPK. And when we take growth hormone releasing peptides, you're getting an expression of mTOR. mTOR is the part of the gene that tells our body to rebuild, and it's what triggers protein synthesis, and is absolutely necessary if you want to build real healthy muscle and if you want to have a skeletal frame that is upright and protected. The downside of mTOR expression is if it's not turned off, then you can start to develop different issues like cancer. And so just like any system, there's a feedback loop. You want to make sure that there's this nice expression of mTOR so that you build, and then you have an equal expression of what's called AMPK. And AMPK, or AMP kinase, is a really important part of the cellular expression because it allows your body to create secondary energy systems. Just like your cells produce ATP as energy, your cells also create this secondary system called AMPK. And when AMPK is expressed, then what your body does is it cleans out old cells that are underperforming. This is called autophagy. It's kind of like what Elon Musk is doing at the government, his Doge operation, whether you like it or not. He's trying to promote autophagy, just clear out what's not working so that what is working can work even better. And that's what AMPK does. So what a lot of people have done throughout the longevity pursuits is they've said, well, I just want to turn off mTOR. And so they may take a substance like rapamycin. Now, rapamycin, and what mTOR means is it's the mammalian target of rapamycin. And rapamycin was antibacterial, and it's an immunosuppressive drug now, but it was found in the soil in Rapa Nui and in the Easter Islands. And they found that the worms lived a lot longer, the yeast cultures lived a lot longer when exposed to rapamycin. And then in some of the mice trials, they found that there is actually an extension of life. In humans, what we found is it can be used if you've had an organ transplant. And then what longevity researchers did is they've said, maybe we can use rapamycin to extend our own lifespan. And so some of the common ways of using it is rapamycin maybe every week if you're more aggressive. Every other week is more of a general approach, or once a month where you're taking a small dose of rapamycin. And what I've found is there's probably some better ways that are healthier for the body versus being so focused on keeping mTOR suppressed. Because in clients that I've seen, they've been on rapamycin for too long, their immune system gets suppressed. They end up having what's called immunosenescence. And then they've lost muscle mass because mTOR is unable to express, and then you don't have that building property that you need. So in your Ageless Future Operating System, if you think of the matrix, this axis, the top of the axis is the brain. How healthy is your brain and vascular system? And that's where tesamorelin is really important because it activates this gene called BDNF. And BDNF are brain-derived neurotropic factors. When they're active, then your brain becomes more plastic, meaning you actually have a recovery of the neurons. Like when you watch a video like this that's like a little bit cerebral. So the second system that is really important in your ageless axis is your muscle mass. And tesamorelin is beautiful at building muscle because you have the mTOR pathway. And if you're using rapamycin, then you're going to turn off muscle building. And then the third system that tesamorelin activates, and the third system in your ageless future axis, is what we call the cardiovascular or the cardiorespiratory network. So it's all the blood in your body. And likewise, when you have adequate levels of growth hormone, your blood vessels, instead of becoming brittle, like most people, when we age, our blood vessels get sarcopenic, so things start to die off and our muscles starts to get replaced with fat. And so tesamorelin is one of the most powerful peptides for avoiding that. So if you weigh out the issues of mTOR versus AMPK and you say, well, how do I make sure that I'm optimizing my ability to build muscle, but down-regulating any kind of risk of cancer by activating this growth hormone pathway, what do I need to do? Now this is where what I mentioned at the beginning. When you take tesamorelin, you want to take the prescribed dose. Work with a doctor on this, work with somebody who understands the sensitive nature of peptides. Because a lot of patients, I've seen them get on tesamorelin and they say, wow, my brain feels better, my muscles look great, I'm recovering in the gym, I'm getting stronger, I'm sleeping better, and they want to stay on it nonstop. Or, they get online and they'll buy peptides from an unknown source, and what we found is 80% of people are still buying peptides through non-licensed compounding pharmacies. But if you can find tesamorelin through a compounding pharmacy, or the drug alternative is called Agrifta, and if you have that prescribed, then you're getting a pure form of the tesamorelin. It's not going to be a fragment, you're going to have sterility, and it's going to maximize the bioavailability. So when you're doing that, you want to be on it for 5 days at a time and then take 2 days off. And that cycle, you don't want to be on it more than about 30 or 60 days because there's over 100 different peptides that activate growth hormone and work on the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. And so what you'll find is that when you're taking tesamorelin, you'll get deeper sleep, your body will recover better, you'll feel more alert mentally, you'll make bigger gains in the gym, you're going to notice that your memory and your recall is more on point than you've experienced in the past. And then you'll start building this resiliency that you haven't had before, similar to the way you felt when you were younger. But the way that you can mitigate that overexpression of mTOR is making sure you're doing time-restricted eating. So every day, limit the amount of time that you're eating to only 12 hours, and maybe even extend your fast so that you only have 10 hours a day, which is your eating window, or 8 hours a day if you're looking to build more endurance. That's a great way of clearing out more autophagy. The second thing, and probably what research shows is even better than fasting for autophagy and activating that AMPK, is make sure that you are exercising every single day. And it doesn't need to be some crazy high intensity interval training every day, but every day move your body and exercise. Activate those fat burning hormones, and then you're going to get a better expression of growth hormone. The third thing you want to do is make sure that you're taking tesamorelin in a fasted state. So that means 90 minutes after dinner, for example. Stop eating dinner and then brush your teeth, and that's my little hack, so that at night, instead of like needing that snack or something sweet, what you want to do is brush your teeth and then set a reminder on your phone if you forget to do your peptides at night. But then, 90 minutes after dinner, you can do your tesamorelin injection. And if you can add ipamorelin to the tesamorelin, what that will do is prevent you from getting excess hunger, because anytime mTOR is turned on, you remember when you were young, as a teenager, I could go and eat everything out of the fridge. I was so hungry all the time. And tesamorelin can increase hunger, but if you add ipamorelin in there, not only is that working on the ghrelin pathway in your pituitary, but that will help give you less of that hunger. Those three things, making sure you're exercising every day, making sure you've got some kind of fasting window, and then making sure that you're taking tesamorelin at the right time of day, that's where you can get the greatest expression. And then cycle on it. You can stay on it for 30 to 60 days and then cycle off for a month, add in like CJC1295, sarcotropin, hexarelin, machimorelin. You can even use sermorelin. There's a lot of great growth hormone peptides, and start working on other pathways, always following that same protocol. And what you'll find is a great opportunity for your body to perform like you did when you were younger. And for those of you who love this video, make sure that you look at my other video on how to use tesamorelin with like Ozempic or tesamorelin with other GLP-1s, and I'll see you in the video.